What's up, y'all? It's KB. And if you're like me, you love movies. And if you're like my guest today, you definitely love movies. Today on the conversation, we're joined by a true gem of the YouTube film community. If you know him, you know his calm, thoughtful insights and his deep love for cinema, as well as his glasses. That's a well-known part of his being, his criteria. Talking about criteria, from Criterion to Kurosawa, he doesn't just talk movies, he connects with them on a soul deep level. I am here with Daisuke Beppu, my friend. Welcome to the conversation.
Wow, I will fail to live up to such a lovely introduction.
You,
Thank you
you,
so
you
much.
being here have already lived up to it, my friend.
Not at all. You're very kind. Thank you, KB. Thank you for the lovely invitation and for your own film journey and everything that entails. So bravo to you. So just thanks for inviting me to be part of your wonderful ongoing conversations. I really appreciate it.
The honor is mine. If you didn't feel the love when you were online at the Criterion Closet, you should know that people know you, people follow you, people are interested in what you have to say about movies, and you're more than a personality. You are an insight into many different types of films, many genres, and I know I've been following you for like 7, almost 8 years now,
Wow.
and yeah, it's nice when I see other people mention your name, or the few times I've seen you on other people's channels that I follow, and I'm like, this guy's a real deal. And these days we don't get a lot of that. So it was really nice. What was it, 2 Sundays ago, to catch up with you and actually pop in on your Sunday chat, which
Yeah,
I'm totally stealing that idea, because that is a great way just to have
please
like an open conversation. So I'm definitely going to start to do that. I love that
go
format.
for it. Go
I
for it.
love
I
it.
just started it recently, so yeah,
Hmm.
inviting people on. So it's good. You can control the environment and people I think are very considerate of everyone's time, but at the same time
Mm,
showing what it is they want to talk about. It's really great. It's really great. So yeah, yeah,
yeah.
go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, I definitely like that. So I'll be adopting that in some way or form or fashion. Talking about it, what was your
Fantastic.
experience being online for the mobile Criterion Closet out there in LA?
Oh, thanks very much for mentioning that. Yes, so I was very fortunate to have been able to visit the Criterion Collection Mobile Closet when it visited LA earlier in June, and it stopped by Santa Monica behind a very famous movie theater called the Aero Theater, and it was a lovely group of people.
Hmm.
And it was a wonderful neighborhood. The Criterion Collection uh, uh, crew, the staff, the family, also the people who the Aero Theater, Cinematech, the staff were they're very kind and well coordinated event. The people of Santa Monica were also very welcoming, and also the people who are in the line. It was a long line. Um,
Yeah.
I was very happy to see how long it was and to
Hmm.
see people waiting and willing to wait for hours. Some people said they're waiting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some people like 9, 10 hours
Wow.
just to step into the closet for 3 minutes
Mm.
and find what it is they wanted and purchase the items subsequently. But so that was very fun to hear what people wanted to get, what they were thinking about, trying to, if they could choose only a three. So what three titles would they be thinking about? So that started this lovely conversation. And of course, you have titles that emerged quite a lot in conversation. There are some of those titles in the Criterion Collection,
Yeah.
as we all know, that are very popular. Um,
Hmm.
very rightly so. And then there are those other titles that were mentioned that were maybe kind of interesting choices, and I don't want to say obscure choices, but choices that didn't necessarily come up in other conversations, which was really lovely. So it was a nice mix, and it just was a wonderful way to springboard off into other directions. Oh, what kinds of films do you like from this filmmaker, or
Right.
why do you want to get this film, or what is it about that Criterion title that makes you interested in it? So it was all around a wonderful place for film discussions, and there were so many film discussions, and I was so impressed with how I mean I guess I mean not that I was expecting anything differently, but I was just so moved by how friendly the vibe was. It was
Yeah.
such a lovely vibe. It was lovely atmosphere. People were just talking to one another like they knew each other, but there were random strangers in a line, but people struck up conversations with people around them. And it had friendly titles here, and what do you do, that sort of thing. So it was I think all around a lovely vibe, a lovely atmosphere. So I enjoyed myself immensely.
Yeah, it definitely gave that vibe, and the great thing, like you said, you're happy to see lines like that because we're doing our part to keep physical media alive, and it's nice to see in this day and age where everyone is like physical media is dying, and you see people just waiting for this opportunity, like you said, 3 minutes tops to go into like a small mobile van and not only just pick out movies, but discuss their love for this group of movies put out by this boutique label.
That's
And
right. It was very, very. Maybe I mean, uh, like maybe, yeah, inspirational might seem a bit strong for maybe for people who aren't necessarily into physical media like we are, but
yeah,
for people who are into physical media like we are, I think it's uh, it's always a kind of it's an environment where like it's hard to it's hard to necessarily, how should I put it, um, describe just how important these things are in a way that maybe might translate well. And I don't mean that in any kind of negative way, but it's. I remember there was a conversation I had with someone just outside the Criterion Closet, mobile closet. They weren't in line,
mhm,
but I think they were in the neighborhood, and there's nothing. There's nothing. Um, of ill intent or anything mean spirited about the question, but they just said, "What is this?" Because they didn't know what the
yeah,
Criterion Collection was, and I said, "Oh,
yeah,
this is the Criterion Collection. Um, this is a label of Blu-rays, DVDs, and 4Ks of titles that have that are very important and classic cinema." And I think one of them, I think it was a couple, and one of them said, "Oh my goodness, people waste their money on this." That's what she said. And I said, and you kind of, but you can kind of understand kind of
yeah,
where she was coming from, because nothing against her in the comment. It was just really sincerely like, why would you do that, right? Because if you
hmm,
have the option of, say, watching a film, or maybe not necessarily being into cinema as much,
right,
then what would be, what would, and I'm sure I would have a similar attitude about other spheres of, say, interest and collectability and things like that I have no idea about. So maybe I would have a
right,
similar kind of mind from. So I can't sit here and complain about what her reaction was. It was an initial reaction. So, but she was very friendly about wanting to know, well, what is the appeal of this?
yeah,
And I said, it doesn't. It's the appeal of being able to maybe tangibly enjoy the film in a kind of package that will be there. And there's a sense of, how should I put it? I mean, I didn't go into too much details about it, but especially in this space where we both are, I think there's something very special about um, in all this, like, this age of, like, bits and internet and
yeah,
things floating in space that you can't really grasp. It's
hmm,
like, it's nice to have something that's really tangible. And even
I
with
agree.
cinema, that if there's this thing, or I mean, I understand it's all dots on a TV, and it's data stored on a disk. I understand that,
Hmm,
but it's one step closer to this idea of, film being on a film and it has to run through a projector. I understand the mechanism is different. I understand that
Right.
it's a whole set of, different rules and laws of physics that might itself feel removed, from the basis, from the viewpoint of people who really love the celluloid and
Right.
going to the movie theater. Like buying a DVD is probably something very far removed from the film watching experience, based on, say, the people who go to the movie theaters and watch it on the big screen, nothing else, 35 millimeter or nothing. I
Right.
completely understand that, but there is still one step closer to a kind of, oh, you can have it in your hands, you can watch it at any time, you don't have to worry about, it's, that little annoying thing that comes up in the middle, it's buffering or something like that. So,
Right.
that
Right.
and oh, does this have ads? Oh my gosh, I have to sit through like 2 minute
Yeah.
30 seconds worth of ads. Okay, I'll watch this
I
ad
I
about
hate
dog food.
that.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I mean, I
I
look at it
hate
sometimes.
that.
Okay, oh, that's a nice visit. That's a nice, sincerely, okay, it's a nice bit of dog. But I always think, oh, when can I get to the bit where I can fast forward and skip? Oh, not quite. I have to
Mhm.
wait another minute 50 seconds, something like that. So,
Yeah.
but my point is that it's removed from that, or one step or a couple steps removed from that. And then
Mhm.
plus, there's just something, I think, it's just, there's a ritual. You can put it in the machine. You can just uh, uh, wait for the little seed to come into the corner, and then enjoy the menu, and then actually
Mhm.
press the button, and then just sit down and have to um, uh, uh, you go through those ritualistic steps, which I think
Yeah.
are
I
very
was just about to
important.
say
So
that. It's
yeah,
like a ritual. It really
yeah,
is. And
yeah. So
you mentioned the ads, and I just started to cringe because it still bothers me that I pay for a streaming service and I still have to sit through ads that interrupt the middle of a movie or something. And all I want to do, like right now, my daughter, I just went upstairs to check before we started recording, and she's watching the last Hunger Games. And in my eyes, I'm like, I have all 4 Hunger Game movies on 4K that we purchased together that you could just come down here and grab, and but she's watching it on HBO Max, but, hey, leave you to it. Now,
exactly.
you mentioned the sea in the corner, and it made me think, I'm sure a lot of people you're known for your Criterion collection, but I'm sure there's some people that think you're only into Criterion titles. But like one
Mhm.
look at your background shows diversity in your collection, especially your other view that you have when you're recording videos. So speak to that. Is it just Criterions or is it more than that?
Oh, you mean the physical media stuff that I get?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I think of the ones that I have here in this room, I think it's a comfortable majority is Criterion Collection titles. So
Hmm.
I really enjoy Criterion for everything it has to offer. But that's not the only thing. That I'm not exclusively a Criterion Collection shopper. So I do have other titles. Um, I think, yeah, yeah. Generally speaking, it's just for this. Well, yeah, I try to keep up with all the releases that I really want to watch. Sometimes I'm
Hmm.
able to, other times maybe I'm not, and it has to do with just how much uh, how much my monthly budget can be stretched in a given month.
Yeah.
And if I need to save money for gas, then I have to put it, that means that maybe one or two less Blu-rays for the
Right.
sake of keeping my gas tank full. But
Hmm.
that's okay. I mean, I totally understand that. But yeah, the point is that yes, I do have other labels. I don't resign myself exclusively to Criterion titles. But that's also, I think now I'm just at a point where I'm looking at uh, uh, maybe just titles that, or releases that strike my fancy, and so give it, where I find myself in a get certain mood or something like that, or certain filmmaker, or certain series of films that I might be interested in. And sometimes you might find those very conveniently housed within a single label.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case, as you know. So
Yeah.
I'll go across more or less where I can. So I don't necessarily anymore. try to say get all of the other, let's say, indicator titles, or I
Right.
don't try to get all of the Arrow releases. I'll look at them and I'll see what they have to offer, but I usually find myself um, just trying to pinpoint certain films. Like for instance, if I'm into a certain filmmaker, I'll tend to try to find a new release of a particular filmmaker.
Mhm.
I won't necessarily always double dip um, unless it's a film or filmmaker that I really love and enjoy, and I want to watch. So, for instance, if there's a new 4K release of a film that I already have, chances are maybe more likely than not, I probably won't automatically get the 4K. I'll probably wait a while, and
Mhm.
then if it's still available, or if it's a limited run and their copy's still available, then I'll try to hop on that. But
Yeah.
if not, then I'll try to find other alternatives. But that's my general approach right
Yeah.
now.
You mentioned directors. Do you have a certain director who's had like the, a big influence on your cinematic taste? Not necessarily a favorite, but kind of the ones that steered you in a certain direction as far as what you look to collect or the type of movies that you generally watch the most.
Well, that's a good question. Um, Uh, maybe, maybe to answer those 2 points at the same time. I mean, there's so many filmmakers I could mention, but I think maybe one filmmaker whose films I think really cross the boundaries really nicely in terms of films that really excited me even as a kid growing up watching them for the first time into now adulthood. And then also his films having a lot of releases that are very exciting, probably, I like horror films, so probably someone like, I don't know, like Dario Argento.
Mm,
I think his films really excited me as a kid, of the ones that I was able to track down, because back in the day, back in the 80s, not all of his films were readily available to watch. They were pretty difficult. Some of them were really difficult to watch. So
yeah.
some of them were very easy, but others were next to impossible to watch. Not like today, where you can basically watch his entire catalog
Hmm.
fairly easily. And then that goes to the next point, which is that I think his films have undergone, I think, a really wonderful, robust set of editions from across various labels. Not just North America, but also in Europe and England, as you know, with Arrow, etc. So, and Severin, and so we have. So that also is very exciting in terms of what the possibilities are with the releases, and also it brings up the third point, which is that it does bring to light, and I think we're entering into this phase we already have probably with physical media, which is we've come to the point where it's become almost it's almost a given to have releases and labels that are focusing in on these, which were maybe up to recently impossible to watch or impossible to find
Hmm.
titles. And so Dario Argento is, I mean, among his filmography, there are some films that were impossible to watch. You couldn't find them anywhere. But now you're
Yeah.
getting these great releases with English subtitles. I don't speak Italian, so I need the rely on subtitling, and then other titles which had maybe um, difficult to watch prints, etc. Now they're getting these great restorations, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
that's an example of maybe a filmmaker whose films are really benefiting it a lot from what one might call a kind of golden age or silver age of this physical media renaissance. And
Yeah.
right, because we're getting these titles that were just either obscure or you couldn't watch them, or and then now they're getting into what is this? I thought I knew. I mean, I don't know everything about films. I thought I
Right,
knew
right.
my share of films. I'd never heard of this title or that. So it's
Mhm.
it's getting to that, and that's second nature. You
Yeah,
can't not do that
and
in this
they're getting
healthy.
nice treatment too. Like,
Exactly. I mean,
you
it's a
mentioned
great healthy
Argento
marketplace.
opera, something like that, getting a
Yes.
nice big treatment to it.
Yeah. You're right.
Uh,
Exactly. That's a great example.
I'm thinking back, and to my and not necessarily your early days on YouTube, but my early days of watching you. And when we were going back 2 Sundays ago, we spoke about probably the video that had the most impact in me remembering who you are. And it became the guy in Tokyo with the Criterion closet in his apartment.
Oh yeah,
Given the space and opportunity, you're in LA now, given the space and
yeah.
opportunity, would you build another Criterion closet like what you had in Tokyo?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd build one. I think, well, yeah, that kind of came about. I mean, I didn't build it. It was already a closet that was in the
Yeah,
apartment
yeah.
anyway. It was just, and it was a kind of walk-in closet. And but the problem was that housing in Tokyo tends to be very cramped for space. You know,
Mhm,
very low in terms of square cubic meters or something like the area
mhm.
compared to say maybe living. I'm living in America now, so there's a lot more space. But Tokyo can be very cramped. So having I had IKEA shelves much like the same model as what I have behind me. I had IKEA shelves, but there came a point where the room that I had the IKEA shelves was just getting more and more cramped. And so I thought, what am I going to do? Well, let me just give this a try. There's a closet there, and I thought, well, I just if I just remove some of these removable bars, I think I can put three IKEA shelves in there. So let's give it a go. So I put in the three IKEA shelves flat and then on the side there's a little bit of space in there, but that's okay. And I thought, okay, let's give this a go. So that's it came about kind of to give it a try. And I thought, oh, it'd be cool to have a closet like this, but also out of and the functionality of it, also out of utility to try to see if this it could save space.
Yeah.
And it did for a while, but I mean, it was really nice to have. So maybe one day, I don't know, it might be interesting to have a closet like that, but I'll be honest, the it was a very cramped space, so it was a little bit difficult to maneuver myself in that space. I remember, so if I could get slightly more like wider space, that might be interesting. But I think it's maybe just having the shelf in just a comfortable like living quarters or whatever one wants to call it. I think was
Mhm.
the most important thing.
You definitely have
Yeah,
more room now,
I
it
do,
looks
I do.
like.
Yes. I do. I'm very grateful for that. Yes.
I wanna, bring up something that I've heard you say before. You've
Mhm.
mentioned the idea of rewatching as revelation. Can you explain what you mean to people by that concept, rewatching as revelation?
Oh yeah. I guess what would be an example? It would be like I um there's a a filmmaker named Alfred Hitchcock who
He's over
made a
my
lot of
shoulder right now.
yeah. Oh yes, yes. So
I
he oh well done. Oh,
always
well
right
done.
there.
Yes, yes, well done. So yes, Alfred Hitchcock. So so you will know, of course, the film which was released in 1940 called Rebecca,
Yes.
and starring Joan Fontaine and Laurence Olivier and Julia Anderson, and Daphne du Maurier novel upon which it's based. Very famous Selznick produced film.
Mhm.
Academy Award winning Rebecca from 1940. Early
Yeah.
on in that film, maybe in the opening, I want to say 5 minutes or so, when we first are introduced to these characters portrayed by the great Joan Fontaine and the great Laurence Olivier. Joan Fontaine is at a table in a hotel at breakfast, describing a little bit about herself. Because Laurence Olivier's character says, "Oh, and tell me a little bit about yourself," and about her. She talks about her father, and the scene is about she describing her father, and her father is an artist, a painter, and he liked to make these pictures, these drawings. Um, and did he paint a lot? And she replies, no, no, he painted only this one tree. but he just painted it over and over and over again. So the same tree he painted over and over and over again. And she then explains, well, my father had a theory, which is that if you really love something, you should stick to it. And that's what I always think about, or not always, but that's one of the things that comes to my mind quite often when I think about watching a film many times over. It's like that
Mm.
tree that Joan Fontaine speaks of. If you love something, you can stick with it. You can paint it over and over and over again. I think the concept is very similar, which is uh, there is, of course, watching something again refreshes the memory, and also
Mhm.
watching something again and again might enable one to catch a detail or two or three or more that one didn't catch the first time. Maybe there's some great way to identify the patterns of a film, and then also recognize, like for instance, if it's a whodunit thriller, you know who did it because you've seen it
Right.
the first time, so you now watch the film again, you can see all the clues, how it fits. That is also part of the fun of watching it again for certain genres and certain types of films. So you have that benefit of watching a film, of course. But there is also this idea, and I know you know of this as well. I know you've spoken about it many times yourself, which is you just um, there is this wonderful sense. I don't want to say familiarity, but there is this wonderful sense of uh, watching something that you know almost in and out because you've watched it so many times,
Mhm.
but it still maybe surprises you in a lot of ways that you didn't realize. And that can be due to the film itself, or that could be due to your mood and where you are at that
Yeah.
particular time of day that you're watching. If you're in a happier mood than you were the day before, you might recognize certain things about this. Or maybe if you're in a slightly more dour mood, or maybe you're a bit down, but you put the film on again, it picks you up, or maybe you identify something else. Or maybe you are uh, older in years than you were when you first saw the film.
Yeah, that
And so I'm
happens
in
to
my
me.
mid 40s. Yeah, I'm in my mid 40s, and I this is happening to me more and more with films that I started to watch when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, and now I'm watching
Mhm.
them. I continue watching them through my years. And when I was like a teenager, 20s, I didn't really think about this, but now I'm in my 40s. I'm probably closer to the end of my life than the beginning of my life. Maybe, of course, fingers crossed, knocked on wood, that's not the case. But you know,
Mhm.
I'm getting on in years, and I can begin to feel it. So maybe that is also part of it. It's just like watching something and then realizing, this is something that maybe because I was younger and I was naive, I still am, but I didn't quite understand things, and I still don't. But that kind of progression in life also makes me look at a film and think, oh, I can see something new. Also, it's not nostalgia, but I always think, oh, I feel I feel like I'm a kid watching this film again because I saw it as a kid for the first time, and it doesn't feel like an old film. It feels like a film that I just saw just yesterday, and I love that
Yeah.
feeling. I love
What's
that feeling.
what's an
It's yeah.
example of one that you could think of, like a recent one?
You mean a recent watch or something?
Yeah, that made you feel
Oh yeah.
that childlike experience again.
Oh sure. Let's see. Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. So
Mm.
Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock was one of the first films that I remember seeing in the movie theater. Whatever it was, 1984 or something, I want to say. And my mom took me, and I remember we were a little bit late getting into the movie theater, so it already started.
Mhm.
The prologue of the film, very memorable. And I saw the film, and I saw the film as a kid, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. The special effects are amazing. I love this film. It's great. And now I watch the film. I've seen it so many times I've lost count. And I can see now, okay, I can see the models, I can see the special effects, I can kind of imagine, oh, okay, it's I can understand these are special effects, but I
Right.
still love the film. But at the same, that's probably the older side of me talking. But also
Mhm.
I think, oh yeah, I remember this is when my mom took me and we were like a few minutes late into the theater. I would never remember that memory otherwise. And then, oh, I'm looking at this and I think, oh, I can't believe like I was a kid, I had, oh, this is so much fun, and oh, this is great, and
Mhm.
now I'm looking at, oh my gosh, they're talking about sex here, that kind of thing. Like I didn't know these sort of things like this.
It
So
went over your
yeah,
head.
yeah, it totally went over my head, and that's that kind of thing. Like Ponfar, my gosh, I didn't know what Ponfar meant as like a 5-year old. My good, now I think about, oh my gosh, this is like this is a very profoundly WTF, but wonderful.
Mhm. Yeah,
So that's an example of a film where I can feel the divide in years, but also I can feel like I was a kid only yesterday, and I love that feeling.
yeah. You did it again. I watch your videos, and sometimes there are, like, meditations on either a topic or a film, especially if you're talking about, like, a certain review of something. Do you, like do you make preparations to discuss a film deeply the way you do, or is that just your passion for movies that we're seeing coming out?
Well, you're very kind to say that. That's very kind of you.
I
I
call it like I see it, man.
you KB, you're yeah, that's very lovely for you to say. I don't uh yeah, so yeah, okay. I guess I don't prepare so much. I always try
Mhm.
to find a hook,
Right.
when I watch a film, or when I try to think what am I going to say, what how can I talk about this? I always
Mhm.
try to find a hook, and what I mean by that is uh you know I don't know. I'm not like an encyclopedia or anything, and I don't know everything about I don't know I don't know a lot about anything, let alone everything. So uh, I'm looking at this very much as first timer as well, and I'm very much outside of this world. I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not part of the production history of the film, so I don't have the
Right.
insider knowledge. I can only watch it and respond to it as someone in my room watching it on my TV, or maybe in the theater, and I think, okay, what can I say about it that that like what is it that would make me want to, like, what is that hook in the film?
Right.
So um and then trying to explain that hook, and what that hook is how it hooks me in,
Mm.
and then just trying to explain it in words that I can, like what is it about the film that hooks me in, why does it hook me in, and um, were there any other circumstances that perhaps permitted that or allowed that? That's it's that kind of thing. So in that way, I just try to think about that in my head,
Mhm.
and then I'll take notes about the the supplements on things, or take notes here uh, occasionally, but more or less it's just trying to think about that hook. And once you have the hook or hooks, it becomes I think fairly straightforward, because then you can think, okay, I'm hooked by this character, and it can be anything from like a thematic arc, something very broad, or it can be
Mhm.
something like a detail. I like the way that his hair curled down it in front of his forehead, or something like that. It
Right.
reminded me of such and such, and I find that to be um, I find those details to be very cool. So it tends to be very amorphous, nothing quite set in stone. And that's
Mhm.
because I think each film is quite different and brings its own
Yeah.
unique points to the table.
Yeah. Have you ever considered, like, teaching film or writing a book? Because, I mean, the passion definitely shines through. Even in your answers, the passion shines through. And I think just the way you approach the things that you have to say about films and genres and subgenres even could be taught to others. Have you ever thought
Oh,
about that as far as your cinematic philosophy?
oh, you're very kind. My goodness, KB, what is this? Is
Dude,
this
this
is
is 7 years in the making.
yeah. So you're I don't know what to say. Like, so I don't know. I've never thought about. I mean, teaching. No, I have no idea about teaching.
Mhm.
Like, you know, like I'm one of those people who like gets in front of a room crowd full of people and just says hi, and like I get back home and I think, oh, I had a good day, and I'm just getting ready to just unwinding, and I realize, oh my gosh, my fly was down. That I'm that kind of So like, oh my god, I was talking to this whole that happened. Like I remember I went to a wedding for a friend of mine in Japan. And I was like so excited. It was, and then I didn't like I bought these new pants. They were new pants. I
Hmm.
forgot to take the label, the price tag
Mm.
label off of the backside pocket. So I was just having a good time dancing, and all the while I had the price tag sticking out from my behind. So I'm one of those people. So if I were teaching in front of a group full of students, I'm sure I'd have something, like a nose hair hanging. So no, nothing like that. But the book, yeah, I do write, not with a lot of vigor or regular speed, but I have dabbled here and there, but nothing of any great significance. But I guess I don't know. I don't think of. I mean, you're very kind to say it, but I don't think of it more like I don't think of it like a. Um, how should I put it? I, at the end of the day, I think I just needed an outlet to be able to talk about these things,
Hmm.
and because I've just not thinking about it for so long, but I just never had a chance to talk about it before. So I'm very
Yeah.
very grateful for that, and then if anything else comes of it, that's great. But for uh, I kind of look at YouTube as this opportunity to unwind more than anything else. So
Yeah.
so
I think a
I think
lot
it's
of
a
us
great
are like
opportunity.
that. I
Yeah,
know
it's
I
great.
started my channel because I wanted to just talk movies with other movie lovers. And I know my family and my friends who are not into movies just got tired of me always talking about that, and they couldn't identify with, you know, a
Yeah,
Criterion versus a studio DVD or something like that. So everyone that I know that has a YouTube channel is usually something around that reason for starting it. They wanted to share their collection, or they wanted to find other appreciators of it, or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah. Totally
So
understand. Yeah.
I put out the question. I'm going to change our little layout here. So I put out the question for if people had questions for you, and one person couldn't make it, but I think he was at a concert or something, but he just wanted to send in his questions. So with that,
Look, Daisuke, my man, quick question for you. Because you could have one movie get in the Criterion Collection, what would it be? And if you had to take one movie out of the Criterion Collection, what would that be? Thanks, man.
Wow, I love the echo. It's like the voice from the heavens. Oh wow, wow,
yeah,
that's so cool, Jeff. Cool, very cool. So the what a nice guy.
one movie to
Um,
put in the Criterion Collection.
can I hear your answer too?
Sure,
Okay,
I'll
okay.
respond afterwards.
Okay. So let's start with the one that you want to have in the collection that's not
Yeah,
in at the moment. Okay, let's
yeah.
see. So so many, and many that I talked about many years ago have gradually crept into the collection. Thank goodness, and so
Mm-hmm.
wonderfully so. But I think one that I would so love to see. It can be Criterion. I mean, at this point, I think any other label would be, oh, it'd be so great if it were Criterion. Ken Russell's The Devils.
Ooh, good choice.
Okay, so that's my choice because
Good
I think
choice.
that's one where it's just, oh, I think it's due for something super huge.
Mm-hmm.
If they can get whoever decides these things at the end of
Yeah,
the day, whoever can sign off on the licensing,
yeah.
getting
That's what I'm
everything,
thinking.
yeah, getting all and getting sort of the definitive
Mm-hmm.
versions, I don't know, of
Yeah,
whatever.
I had a couple creep in. Like most recently, I would say No Country for Old Men is one that I wanted for a long time, and I was glad it got a Criterion release. So the only one I could immediately think of, and I don't honestly, I don't care if it's Criterion, if it's Arrow. it needs a 4K and it needs some good treatment is Nightcrawler starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
want
yeah, yeah,
that. I want
yeah.
that in some boutique label format. I think that is overdue for excellent release.
Yeah. So I that's really so there's this the I why do I have this in front of me? The Nova release, right? So
I
this
was
one,
about to
right?
say,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
set.
yeah, yeah. So
Beautiful.
so why did that was that's did we plan this? No, that's
No,
really
no,
cool.
we
Okay.
didn't, but great
Yeah.
timing. Great timing.
Okay.
And what
So
about one that's there that you would take out?
take out. Let's see. Um
I have one.
Why don't you say yours and I'll listen to it and it'll give me extra time to think as well.
It's probably the one Criterion that I have in my collection that I was a little disappointed with, and that was Swing Time. I
Okay.
don't know if
Okay.
it was the transfer or I just felt like it would have been good enough being a studio release. And I think there were other things that they could have went after as far as a release. And I would like to see like an American in Paris before I see Swing Time or something like that.
Interesting.
But yeah, if I had to take out something to get Nightcrawler in, I would take out Swing Time and put that in. There are a lot of bare
Oh,
bones ones that I just love being in there. Arsenic and Old Lace. I don't care if it doesn't have too many features. I love that release. But
hmm.
I would take out Swing Time.
Interesting. Interesting. Uh, I think this is very difficult for me.
I know. Leave it to Jeff.
Yeah, that's no, it's a great question. Um, let's see. Pro hmm, yeah. Um, hmm.
I know. And you have a lot
Yeah.
to go through as far as choices.
Yeah, yeah. It's sorry about this. I've kind of caught it's a great question. I mean, gosh,
Let
I
me
don't
put it a
know.
different way then. Has there
Sure.
ever been a release that you were disappointed or wish you got more out of?
Well, I don't know about disappointed, but I think like these labels, you can get a title in Criterion, but then another label releases the same films that is just
Yeah,
undeniably just a stellar release.
we
Criterion's
had
release
that.
was good, but so I think the one
Yeah.
that comes to mind is the Bruce Lee set.
Oh,
I
okay.
think yeah, I love the Bruce Lee films. So I have the Criterion set, which I think is really
Hmm.
really good. But I think the Arrow releases subsequent were I think just in many ways kind of game changers.
Yeah,
And I mean that happens. The opposite's true, of course. I think there are releases that are done by other labels, but then Criterion comes along and just it becomes really fantastic. But that might
yeah,
be one where I think Criterion's was good, but there was another labels that I think was just you can't deny how great it was and is. So
yeah. And I have examples of Criterion Blu-rays with 4K transfers on them that ended up being better than the studio 4Ks.
yeah,
Pan's Labyrinth is one. Do the Right Thing is another. The 4Ks pale in comparison to the Criterion Blu-rays for sure.
mm,
So it's all about the transfer
yeah,
sometimes. It really is.
yeah.
We have two more questions that were submitted. And since we're talking transfers, I'll bring this one up here. Favorite Criterion release in terms of transfer and supplementary content from
Does it have to be the
Bram
same
McGregor.
release?
Eh,
Thank you, Bram.
yeah,
Thank you, Bram. So is it going to be the same release or can they be separate releases?
your call.
Okay. And I want you to answer as well, KB.
Okay.
So I think um, maybe just in terms of transfer might be, or just that the presentation transfer experience, um, m- probably uh, the Apu trilogy,
Mm,
and you can go Blu-ray or 4K for that Apu trilogy. Just how how stunning it is looking now, especially when considering where it was before those releases. It was on the brink of extinction, essentially. So
That's a good answer.
the Oppo trilogy in terms of the first part, and then the second part in terms of supplements. I think the Oppo trilogy supplements are great, by the way. But if I had to choose one, I think, gosh, maybe supplements on the film. It maybe just recently. Oh gosh, so many. I was overwhelmed by just how great and how many supplements there were. For instance, in releases like say Malcolm X
Yes.
or Wall-E, right? The Pixar film
Mm-hmm.
Wall-E. I think the supplements are like it's longer than the film. It's just so many. I'm just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's like Niagara Falls of supplements. It's great. So, and it's not just like quote unquote fluff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes into sort of the mechanics of the filmmaking process. I'd probably go with those just as maybe more recent examples. So,
Yeah.
KB, what about you? What about you?
That one had all the supplements that was on the Disney releases, and then it added to it for Wall-E. So I would
Good for
definitely
you.
say that. I was looking at the collection here that I have and looking for examples. Most recently, I was really impressed with the transfer on the Roaring 20s, the 4K of
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And uh, I know anytime you have difficulty getting like a single original camera negative, it's always appreciative of the job that they do to put things together. Um, Going back a little bit, I know foreign correspondent was like that too, finding original camera negatives. As far as packaging, that's a little bit harder for me. Um,
Or the packaging and or supplements.
Supplements, yeah. Um, I'm a sucker for that Before trilogy, and that's a packaging thing more than supplements. But I would concur with you on the Wall-E because it's more than what Disney had on theirs. It was everything Disney had. So if you had the old Disney release, you could get rid of it and it still had more stuff on there. And that's just working with Brad Bird from Pixar because he wanted to have his Criterion release. But yeah, I would say those, what is that? Pinocchio. Guillermo, he puts so much stuff
Yeah.
out with his movies, and I had an Oscar screener that was like a storybook, and it also came with the Funko Pop of
Oh, cool.
Pinocchio from the movie before it was available. So it was more than just the Criterion supplements; it was all the other supplemental stuff as well. So that was a big thing, especially the storybook. That was beautiful.
Fantastic.
We have another question. This one is from Danny Smith from Toronto. He
Oh,
asks your
Danny.
favorite Beatles movie.
Wow, Danny. Oh, and KB, I also want your answer as well. So,
Uh
so
huh.
many. Gosh, so many to choose. I guess. I mean, are these favorite Beatles movies? I guess now there's so many. They're coming recent releases and
Mm-hmm.
back, plus things that are coming in the future. I think, but so I don't know if you could count it as a movie, but I love the anthology, the Beatles anthology.
Yeah.
And that's where they did the whole thing, and they released Free as a Bird and then Real Love a
Mm-hmm.
little bit later, um, which I love that. And there's all the things about from their point of view, from their perspective, and then about how Frank Sinatra thought that the song "Something" was written by Paul McCartney instead of George Harrison, and that was according to Paul McCartney. He's describing that story as he's driving his boat. By the way,
Yeah.
Danny, do you remember that? Danny, I don't know if you're watching, but do you so or the scene about where Ringo Starr goes to India to because that was when the Beatles were with the Maharishi Narash
Mm-hmm.
Yogi and that part of their lives. And so Ringo goes to India, but he says he didn't like to go without packing a suitcase filled with Heinz baked beans, because
Wow.
he really loved baked beans. So
Yeah.
because he
Part of breakfast.
yeah, exactly. So I like that. But maybe the one that I watch. I mean, I love Help.
Yeah.
It's a fiendish thingy. I love that line from George Harrison. Um, and I never knew that curling in Help could be so dangerous. Um, and then, of course, A Hard Day's Night. I love everything about that film, but in
Yeah.
particular, I love Victor Speretti's Sweater.
Hmm.
But probably the and I've said somewhere on somewhere on YouTube that I must one day before I die, I must try to find that same sweater that Victor Spinetti wears in the film A Hard Day's Night. There's just something quite iconic about it. But probably the one that I've seen the most, because I'm so wonderfully perplexed by it, and it's short in terms of running time, is Magical Mystery Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magical Mystery Tour is the one where I can't quite. It's like it turns my head into spaghetti, much like the dream that the spaghetti. John putting the spaghetti. It's not really spaghetti actually. Look, but it's kind of this strange, like, gobbledygook, which is quite wonderful,
Yeah.
but just wonderfully bizarre. And it's quite short. And I love how was it Paul McCartney says in one of the interviews in the anthology, probably said it elsewhere too, is like, that was a film that was a film that people like Spielberg, I heard later, say that they took films like that seriously, like
Yeah.
as an art film. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so great. That's such a great quote. That's such a great Paul McCartney quote.
That's so
Talking about Paul
crazy.
McCartney. I don't know. Yeah. So, but anyway, so probably I went across the board. But I'll say right now, Magical Mystery Tour.
For me, it
How about
was
you,
A
KB?
Hard Day Night for the longest time, until they did this long, crazy, can't watch it too many times documentary series on Get Back.
Yep.
Just the volatility of the group, just making that album, and it was going to be the last one way or the other, but you saw the reason why. For years, if you were just outside Beatles fans getting the records, listening to it on the radio, you didn't understand why they broke up, and you could blame Yoko and all this stuff, but you saw how much of a time bomb they were as a group by the time they got to that. And also how much what's his name, Billy Preston,
Yes.
how involved he was in the group. People talk about the fifth Beatle. He must be the sixth Beatle, because he was so instrumental in the group at different points. So it was
That's
really great to look at that docu-series and get a whole different perspective and a better understanding of why some things, as good as they are, have to come to an end.
Are you a Beatles fan, KB, by the way?
I grew up liking all different types of music, and I grew up in the 80s, so it was Prince or Michael Jackson, and then that led me to understanding at one time it was the Beatles or Rolling Stones. So I'm like, if I could answer Michael or Prince, I should be able to answer Beatles or Rolling Stones. So I determined that I'm more Beatles than Stones. I respect both. And in the 80s, I'm more Prince than Michael, even though Michael is still king of pop, whatever. So,
If that's the case, what is your favorite track from Batman?
ooh, Scandalous.
Oh, I like that.
Scandalous for sure.
Very nice. Very nice.
Bat Dance is fine, and Party Man and all that, but I like the slow grooves. Give me Scandalous.
That's a really good choice. Yeah, that's a great choice. I would have gone with Party Man, but I now see that my choice pales, yes, in comparison.
And just for
Thank you. Well done.
reference, before we lose all the movie fans, I loved it so much. There was a CD single. It was a 20-minute CD single with Prince playing mostly instrumentals over the Scandalous song, and Vicky Vale having a meeting with Prince. So you had Kim Basinger on the record for the extended,
That's so
they
cool.
call it the extended sex suite of Scandalous. That's how much I like that song.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I love how that film uses the Prince songs. Like I think that is the
Yeah.
most amazing way to use songs in a kind of big budget film like that. I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen songs used in maybe Magnolia by Paul Thomas Anderson with Amy Mann, but
Hmm.
still there's something like yeah, there's something like very
Yeah.
unique. I think that should be spoken about much more. But I'm sorry, I went off
No,
track
no,
there.
no,
I
you're
apologize.
fine. That's what the conversation is about, just going places. The only other person I thought of to do that, same artist, was Spike Lee using Prince songs in Girl Six,
Oh
which is a movie
yeah,
that seems lost because it's
yeah.
stuck on DVD, it's out of print. I've been lobbying for Criterion since they have a rapport with Spike. Can
Oh
we get a
yeah,
bunch of early Spike Lee films in a box set? All the ones that
yeah.
are stuck on DVD, and just put them all together, from She's Gotta Have It to Get on the Bus. Get He's Got Game in there because we need a good copy of that. And definitely Girl Six. We need these movies. I love Spike
Oh,
Lee,
that's
so
great. Yo,
yeah.
that's a great choice. I love that period in his.
Hmm.
That was yeah, that was around that was right like the nine. That was such a great period. I mean, they're all great
Yeah.
in
All
his,
the
but
indie
that yeah.
movies that were
Yeah, yeah,
blowing
yeah.
up at the time, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, so that was around the time, like you mentioned, he got game, and also there was Clockers, which was,
Hmm.
and then Girl Six, and then Summer Sam, I think came. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
what a period
Yeah.
of films that all the
Yeah.
way back from She's Got to Have It. You're absolutely right. Oh yeah,
Yeah. I got one more question for you before we get into the five takes.
go for it.
So, let's say there's someone who's just beginning to explore classic cinema or getting into the Criterion Collection. What film, just one, what film would you recommend as their entry point, and what's the reason why you choose that film? What
Seven
film would you
Samurai.
recommend?
Seven
Okay,
Samurai. Yeah.
I like
Uh,
that answer.
that seems to be one of the most emblematic of the Criterion titles. So it's like, and that too has a really great set of supplements, and it looks really
Hmm.
good for what it is on Criterion. I mean, there are many other there are many labels that have released it. We can get into the discussion about, or should you get
The BFI or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Which and I think for some maybe that might be the answer, but the Criterion release is quite excellent,
Yeah.
notwithstanding other releases which are also really great. But it is a classic title from a filmmaker um, that is just you can't deny just how famous the filmmaker is, Kurosawa,
Yeah.
and it's among arguably one of his greatest films ever made. And I think it's a great entry point. It's a film that I remember watching in a theater in college when I was an undergrad university student, and it was it was a college crowd in a theater, and we saw it. We had the great opportunity to watch it on this lovely print,
Mm.
and you could tell that I'd seen it so many times before, but it's the first time watching it in the movie theater. But you could also tell based on the reaction from the crowd that it was a lot of people were watching it for the first time. And you could also tell from the crowd, not everyone was like a cinephile or
Right,
it was
right.
just but it was like a Friday night, Saturday night, and it was like packed, so it was really cool. So you had these people. It was like like quote unquote, it was like a movie theater experience. It was great, and
Hmm.
people were just laughing and reacting to the film and gasping and oh my god. And then when things happen, because the film, things really happen. People like there's a moment where like a big thing happens dramatically, and people in the audience are like, oh my god, and it just everyone fell silent. And so that I thought was one of the great movie theater experiences I had from college watching Seven Samurai. And I bring that up because I think that's a great anecdote to suggest that it's a film that potentially I think almost anyone can get into. You can
Yeah.
be a cinephile and love it. You can be a casual, quote unquote, casual movie goer and love it. You don't have to
Hmm.
know the Criterion Collection to really get into it. I think,
Right.
But it's also a gateway. So if you are really into it and it's a Criterion title, it's your entry point into, oh, what other titles can there be in the Criterion Collection if I enjoyed Seven Samurai so much? So among
Yeah.
many other accolades I can shower upon it, it's famous for so many other reasons. But yeah, Seven Samurai.
I'll throw in one more. Do you remember your first title from the Criterion Collection that you got?
Oh yeah, I get asked this a lot. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Um, it's I mean, I was there when they were doing the VHS tapes, and so and
Wow.
then when they had the they started the DVDs, like I don't know, in the 90s or so. So you
Hmm.
could see all these titles on the shelves. You can, oh, there's RoboCop, there's The Killer, there's Hard Boiled. Oh, I can get the, oh, I'm holding like 5 copies of Hard Boiled.
I
Like,
just
and like I
want it
look at the course,
again.
39.95. Oh yeah, I don't need to buy these. I'll just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
Put it
care.
back on the shelf.
Yeah, sealed. I don't care. Yeah, I'll get some. So, but yeah, so I don't remember what my first one was, but I do remember, watching Criterion's. I didn't get a lot because I was a student then, and I didn't have so much money to spend on these things, and it wasn't like collecting things, but
Hmm.
I had my share.
I have
Yeah.
to say, I still have mine, and it's still the cheapest I've ever paid for a Criterion. I worked at this place that had like a buy sell trade forum, and
Hmm.
someone had the movie The Royal Tenenbaums. And I was like, oh,
Ooh.
I heard about that movie. I want to see it. And I went to their desk and I gave them my $5 and they gave me this film. And I'm looking at the box and same thing, like you said, the menu comes up and I'm like, this is a different looking menu. And then I started looking at the supplements and everything. I was like, wow, this is a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
And that's when I first saw the Criterion Collection. And then after that, I think Chasing Amy came out only on Criterion Collection. And that was the next one. And then I heard the Beastie Boys music videos was coming out. And it was also that same label. And those are my first three.
Oh, those are great. Oh,
Yeah.
those are great. Royal Tenenbaums. Yes, yes. I was just watching. Yes, the other day. So you're
That
DVD
one.
and Blu-ray.
That one on the right.
The DVD. This one.
Yeah.
Ah, the great. Yes, and Beastie Boys. Yes,
Yeah.
and then also Chasing Amy.
Hmm.
I love that film, Chasing Amy.
Yeah. I wish they could bring back some of those DVD titles, get the licenses for them again.
Yeah.
That would be great. Okay, sir. Are you ready for the 5 takes?
Yes, I accidentally sent you my answers in advance, but I
That's
think
okay. I didn't
I've
even look
changed
at
my
them.
mind.
I didn't
Okay.
even look at it, so it's
Okay.
okay. The
Okay.
5 takes, the 5 questions we ask at the end of every conversation to our guests. We start like we always do with number 1. Name the film that made you fall in love with the movies.
Okay. Um. Oh gosh, I had my answer before, but I think. Oh my gosh. Um. That's really difficult. Fall in love with movies. Maybe the film that can I answer with two films? So I'm so sorry.
Sure.
The film that really made me fall in love with like film as something like a journey, like something that like is something new I didn't realize before, was probably either um, Kurosawa's Yojimbo,
Hmm.
or a film called in English Pickpocket by Robert Bresson,
Yeah.
approximately around the same, these films, I know, so around the same
Hmm.
time. So those are two films that like I watched when I was 10, 11, 12, something like that really excited me to watch a lot of more films to where I am right now. And then the film, and you say but the film that made me fall in love with movies, so many as a kid growing up. I'm a kid of the 80s watching videos at a kind of mom and pop video store, and then later Blockbuster.
Hmm.
You mentioned so many. Oh gosh, if I had to pick one, maybe it might be Big Trouble in Little China. John Carpenter
Ah,
directed film.
That's right. Love that movie. Since everyone says I ask these questions but I don't give my answers, I'm wearing my answer to number one.
Oh, I was gonna say, oh gosh, Goodfellas. That's great.
That's when it
Both.
happened for me.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
when it happened for me. And I have a lot of movie T-shirts. This is the only movie I have multiple movie T-shirts for. I have this. I have one that says Martin Scorsese production from the opening titles, and
oh
then
yeah.
I have a picture um of his mother's painting with the two dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
like
the
it. One
funny
this morning.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah. And the funny thing is, I wear it out. Like I wore it to go see a double feature with Ryan from The Disconnected a few weeks ago, and I love when people know the reference, and they're like, "I love your shirt. That's from Goodfellas, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they start doing the impression, like you just
Yeah.
said. One dog's going this way, the other dog's going that way.
I love
And
that. That's great.
your Jimbo, I just got the BFI of that because I wanted to do an
Oh,
upgrade, and I started hearing about all those additional supplements, and I'm like, well, I could keep the supplements I have from the Criterion Blu-ray,
yeah.
and I
Yeah.
could get the extra BFI ones. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into those supplements and seeing the transfer as well. Let's
Great.
continue. Number two. Name five of your favorite films. Doesn't have to be the top five,
Okay.
but just five of your favorites.
Okay. So this is very difficult. So okay. In no order, and it's not like this will change
Hmm.
depending on my mood. Um so I have to put in, let's say, Edward Yang's A Brighter Summer Day.
Good one.
Then speaking of Hitchcock, Vertigo.
Mm.
And then let's put in, I've been thinking about this film so much lately and also not so lately, which is a film called Mishima, A Life in Four Chapters, directed by Paul
Schrader.
Schrader.
Yeah.
Good for you. Oh, excellent. Great. And then I have, let's put in there, oh my gosh. Uh, okay. Uh, Let me put in there The Godfather.
Okay.
And then let me also put in, oh, I'm into my fifth. Oh my gosh. Uh,
It's like that
I
letterbox thing when they
yeah,
go and say, give you four
yeah.
favorites and people feel like they're stressed.
I love the letterbox questions. What are the four famous films that you're in that you think people? Oh, the ones that I was in. I love those
Yeah.
questions. But anyway,
What's your most rewatched
yeah,
films that you
that you're in. Yeah.
I don't know. Meryl Streep was number one. What was number one? Oh, Little Women, number one for Meryl Streep.
No
Not
kidding.
the movie I would think of.
That's great. That's a great choice.
Just because she's in it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What's your fifth?
But okay, so let's see. So I'll put in there. Okay. Can I put in my fifth and then put an honorable mention? So
Of
I'm cheating.
course.
So okay, so the fifth will be Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero, Dawn of the Dead,
Nice.
and then I'll put in there, Heat, Michael Mann.
Michael
There we go.
Mann.
Yes.
Yeah, that shootout scene is undefeated.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone's favorite question. Number three.
Yeah.
Name a popular or classic movie that everybody loves, but you don't particularly like.
So, mm, let's see. Maybe, yeah, the one that probably
I
comes to
remember your
mind.
answer for this one that you
Yeah.
submitted.
Yeah, I think the one that comes to mind is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe for the um I'm all for, I'm all for like performance and um uh like performance and representation and malleability and flexibility, fluidity of performance. I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind so much like someone asked me, "Oh, do you think a film like James Bond's You Only Live Twice is racist?" And I don't think so. I enjoy parts of it, and if it doesn't quite fit with my feelings about like where I come from, I kind of just shrug it off and laugh. It's great, but
Right.
there's something, I don't know, quite jarring about watching Breakfast at Tiffany's for me.
Hmm.
I can't quite get it, but if people enjoy it, I'm totally on board with that. I have
Yeah.
nothing. I'm go for it. Enjoy it. You can tell me about how much you enjoy it. I'm
Yeah.
totally on board with that. So just maybe not quite on board with it as maybe some others might be.
And I'm guessing you mean in particular the
Oh
Mickey
yeah,
Rooney performance.
it's like it's I try to approach it with an open mind. I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't quite grapple. And I'm trying to think. Oh, I love Audrey Hepburn so much. Oh gosh, I
Hmm.
love it. And just it's like I'm it's like I go and get a meal. I'm about to have this lovely meal, or I go and get like I'm so hungry and I want to get like fries and a shake. And I'm so hungry I'm have fries and a shake, and I have a shake, and I find like a hair in the shake.
Hmm.
Oh, I can't drink. I want the
Hmm.
shake, but I just find the hair, so I have to put it. So
Yeah.
it has that kind of
I
like push
almost
and pull kind
equated
of
it to
feel.
what I think of when I see blackface in an old movie. It's like
Mm,
not the representation that I want to see.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I get where you're coming from. Let's continue on. Number 4, name a critically hated movie that you love.
sure. I don't know if I love the film, but I didn't hate the film. I kind of enjoyed it, which was Cats.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me
I
about it.
I oh so I went to see it. I was living in Japan at the time it was released.
Mhm.
So maybe that I wasn't I was somewhat maybe insulated from all the critical rancor that it seemed to be getting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was getting that much critical heat in Japan as much, so I wasn't so much exposed to that. So that was one thing.
Yeah.
The other thing, I saw it in the theater with my daughter at the time, and this was several years back.
Mhm.
So and I enjoyed. We saw Cats when we were visiting New York several years prior,
Yeah.
and we
Winter
sat in the
Garden
front row.
Theater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great. It was great. I mean, I don't know if it was Winter Garden Theater maybe it was at a different theater. I forget. I don't know if it was the
Mhm.
same theater, but it was a revival of Cats. But it was
Yeah.
great. It was absolutely great. And Rum Tum Tugger came up and actually took a picture of my daughter and put it on the official Rum Tum Tugger Instagrams. That was great. I think it's still there. So, but
Nice.
so I had that warm nostalgia with that, and I went to the film, and okay, it's not the greatest film I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It was fun. The songs were great. I knew some of the songs. Some of them were new. Most of them I knew. So it was
Mhm.
great. And then I was then I was kind of more active on, say, like Facebook and things. I'm not now, not for anything. Just I don't have the time, unfortunately. I wish I had more time, but
Yeah.
I was more active then on Facebook, and I was just mentioning, oh, I just watched Cats, and I enjoyed it very much. And I just remember like kind of like, oh my god, you love cats, what, like, oh, and I wasn't trying to be like provocative. It was just, oh, I just
Right.
enjoyed it. And I remember one person in particular, like I kind of like, it was like, oh, he didn't mean anything by it. I know it was very interesting. Yeah, I got a comment from someone in one of the groups saying something like, and I paraphrase, it was like, oh, I can kind of see that, Japanese people tend to like really strange and unusual things. I said, okay, that's fine. I was like, all right. But and I think what he meant to say by that was that like for him it was just this weird experience,
Yeah.
and it was like maybe like, oh, maybe Japan is the world of anime and this hyper realized art and flashy colors and that sort of thing. Maybe it was that kind of aesthetic
Mhm.
that that maybe I was used to, or something like that. I kind of gently push back. I don't quite look at it that way. I kind of look
Right,
at it more
right.
like it was just I like Cats. I like the music. It didn't stray too far from what I thought the musical was, which I really love. I mean,
Right.
if and I thought, if people don't like the film, how do they feel about the
The
musical? And I'm sure
musical.
maybe, yeah, I'm sure maybe that maybe people who didn't like the musical maybe don't like the film. And if that's true, that's fine. But I'm sure there are people who love the musical and hate the film. But I'm sure there
Hmm.
are people who love the musical and thought the film was pretty good. And I'm in that camp.
Yeah, and I think anytime there's outrage or backlash, that overshadows the people who actually like it, because then it's almost like saying, well, I don't want to say anything about it that I like it because everybody else seems to hate it. That's why I have this question here, because sometimes there's movies that you don't think that other people like, or they look at a Rotten Tomatoes. I just did. It's currently at 19%, and they see that, and then they avoid a movie. And I'm like, always, art is appreciation. So you need to go and look at something, whether it's a painting or you know a
Oh,
musical or a movie, and make your own determination.
that's interesting. I'm sorry to ask this, but
No, please do.
um, you mentioned Rotten Tomatoes. Do you put much reliance on Rotten Tomatoes?
Not at all. Not
Interesting.
at all. I think it's a marketing thing, because if you have to promote the movie, we're far gone from the days of Siskel and Ebert and two thumbs up and all that. So now we rely on audiences and critics alike, and it's tending to blend more and more together. Between There's less and less of a line between a movie critic and an audience member. So it's always going off that. Like, you can't tell me that no one likes the Saturday Night Fever sequel, Staying Alive, that it has a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. And yet I've had people on this very channel tell me they love that movie. So when someone sees 0, that means there's less than 1%, closer to 0% of people that don't like that movie. I find that hard to believe. And
Oh,
the same
interesting.
thing if before a movie comes out and they're saying it has a 100% Rotten Tomatoes, that means everyone that has seen this movie thinks it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I find that hard to believe, because critics are, it's in the name, critical. There's no way everyone that's seen this just thought it was a 5-star movie. So
Interesting.
I take it with a grain of salt, and I will watch a bad movie just to have my own opinion and not rely on it. But if it's a situation between something that's highly anticipated or well received, as far as, people that I know who have seen it, that I trust their opinion, because I have a lot of friends who see screeners early and do critiques and all that, versus something else that seems to not be, I'll prioritize the more popular movie or the
Mhm.
ones that have a better reception. But I'll get around to seeing that other movie eventually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good plug for Staying Alive, by the way. You know what I want to do? Strut. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My wife told me the other day she's never seen Staying Alive. And we grew up in the era of, Saturday Night Fever and listening to the soundtrack. Then Grease came out and that replaced Saturday Night Fever. And I was like, you never seen Staying Alive, the sequel? She's like, there was a sequel to to Saturday Night
Very
Fever. I
cool.
said, yeah. So I'll show it to her one day.
Very
That's
nice.
just how it is. Sir, thank you. This has been an honor. This has been fun. Dare I say it? I have one more question to ask as we
Sure.
land the plane. Now that you've been on the conversation, you've seen how it goes. Number 5, who would you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
Okay. Before I answer that, can I ask you what is your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Ooh, good question.
Or you can name a bunch. What
Oh,
what
I'm
what are
I'm a I'm a T2 person. I
okay?
love Terminator, and I see Terminator almost as a low-key horror movie, because you have this killing machine in pursuit. That is the very definition of terror and horror. And then you come around to T2, and we have the money, we have the special effects that no one had seen before at that point, and some of the things that's in it today still holds up as far as looking great and has been unprecedented. So not his greatest performance, but I definitely like Terminator 2. And low key, I love Maggie. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
I think he does a
Very
great
nice.
performance.
Yeah.
Not to say he's like a, a Shakespearean actor or anything. We are talking about Schwarzenegger here. But I grew up in the Commando and the, Predator timeline. But I would say Terminator 2 and Maggie. I think more people need to see Maggie as far as seeing him
Good
just
choice.
act. Just
Good
not
choice.
not, flexing the biceps and all that. Just act.
Good choice. I would also say, speaking of Schwarzenegger and Shakespeare, well, those are great choices. Also, that's a great that was a great subtle plug for Last Action Hero, and
Yes.
yeah, I think also his acting is great in. No one ever talks about his acting in a film. Like I think like Twins. I think he's really moving in Twins. Is like
Mhm.
like Vincent. But the reason why those are great choices. But the reason why I mention that is because the person I want to recommend is my dear friend. He's on YouTube and Instagram. His name is Tanner,
Mhm.
the horrible show,
The
Tanner.
horrible
And the
show.
reason why, yes, the reason why I mention him is he is one of the nicest people that I've ever had the chance to meet. He is also a great movie lover. If ever you're able to have him on, I would love for you to ask him, how many copies of the Lucio Fulci film The Beyond do you have, and why? And he will go into, I think, this huge, great treatise in having many copies of a film that he loves. Speaking of watching films over and over again, one of the great things about physical media that I think is oft overlooked, or it's mentioned, or it's one of those second nature things, but it doesn't get spoken a lot, I think, because we all know it, but we never say it out loud. It's how
Mhm.
many copies of the same film do we have?
Yeah.
Because we love the film so much. And so
Mhm.
I think for Tanner, it's The Beyond and many other Luci Fulci films. And he has, for my money, the best Arnold Schwarzenegger impression that I've ever seen.
Hmm.
So
I
ask him
gotta
that
I
if
gotta
if
check
he's on
that
the
out.
channel. If he's on the channel, please ask him about Lucio Fulci's Beyond. And
Mhm.
for extra credit, please have him answer the question uh,
In
while doing,
Schwarzenegger
yes,
voice.
in the Schwarzenegger voice.
I will definitely do that. So what's the film that you have the most copies of?
I will try to answer if you answer that as well. All right. So let's see. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Are you thinking about your answer as well?
Oh, I know my
Um,
answer already. And I still wanna get one more copy of it. That's how bad it is.
okay. Oh my gosh. What is it? What is it? Ah, this is so tough. I'm looking around. It could be, I haven't given an account, but based on like a number of copies, including laser discs, and I have a number of copies on laser discs, and that's a whole nother story. It could be the film. It could be Citizen Kane. It could be, although I'm not
Really?
sure. Yeah, it could be. I'm,
Okay.
I'm not. I didn't list that as my among my 5 favorite films ever, but it could be
Yeah.
that because there's so many pressings that are fairly accessible on Laserdisc and then VHS and then DVD and then Blu-ray and then Criterion. So, and I had to
Yeah.
get the second copy of because when you remember the debacle with the disc and the
Yeah.
Criterion, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to get the replacement, but I kept both copies. So
So I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna move my camera so I could show you this because you would appreciate this.
okay.
Besides my Star Wars poster, I have that custom Citizen Kane poster. And if you look at it at a certain angle, across the entire thing are the words Citizen Kane. You can't see it here, there's not enough light on it. And you could also see my Laserdisc copy of North by
I
Northwest because
saw.
I'm a big Hitchcock fan,
Good for
and
you.
my Elm Street street sign signed by Heather Langenkamp.
Are you serious? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I met her at a film festival last year, and she was gracious enough to spend some time and take a picture with me and sign my street sign that says "Don't fall asleep."
I'm so glad that you're a Nightmare on Elm Street. What's some of your favorite quotes from the film?
Well, there's that one. there's when she told her boyfriend to stay awake and he fell asleep and she's on the bed and she just like gives him like a little tap and she's like, "You shit."
What did you do? You fell. Yeah, Nancy.
Yeah,
Nancy. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Oh,
then
that's great.
the mother, when she's trying to get out and she's like, "Locked, locked, locked. They're
Oh,
all
yeah,
locked."
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
I love Freddy Krueger movies. I'm a Fred head, so I love all the movies, all the quotes, everything.
And
So
the what is it? Warm milk. Gross.
yeah,
Oh
yes.
yeah, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love it. I love it. I can't.
Mother.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's so great. Nightmare on Elm Street Part Two, I think, is going to get some attention pretty soon.
Yeah,
I think.
they're gonna
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
that. The 4K is gonna
Yeah.
come out, and
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a new appreciation for it since the Scream Queen documentary. So, telling us a little more about the whole backstory to Mark Patton and
Yep.
his whole beef with the
Yep.
and director of the movie and
Jack Shoulder.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a
I
great
love
doc.
you,
Anybody?
Jesse. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I swear that that girl who played Lisa could have been an excellent young Meryl Streep. She just has that look to her. Next time you watch
Yeah.
it, just pay attention and say, could she play a young Meryl Streep? I think she could.
I think. Although I'm so sorry. I know we have to go, but I'm just
No,
one thing about
no,
Nightmare on
I
Elm Street. I'm
am
so
I
sorry.
am
Which
so
is
enjoying this. You don't
which
know.
is
This is so good.
can I get your opinion about this? Okay, so can I just talk about the scene where he's dreaming like
Yeah.
Daddy can't help you. He's like the famous line in from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I need you, Jesse. We got
Yeah.
special work to do here, you and me. And he's
Yeah.
like, you've got the body, and I've
And
got the
I've
brain.
got the
That stuff like
brains.
famous. And he peels his scalp back to reveal his pulsating brain. He's like, aha, and
Mhm.
Jesse screams. But I don't know about you, but whenever I was never scared because his skin is already like burnt and it
Right.
looks already
So it looks
like
like it'll peel very easily.
yeah, not even just that, it already looks like kind of brain matter. So it's like
Mhm.
brain matter skin and he's pulling it back to reveal his brain. It's like brain matter pulled back to reveal a brain. I was like, I always thought,
Mhm.
oh, it's kind of I was never like I could never see the divide between his brain and his skin.
Yeah.
So but anyway, I'm so sorry. But everything else about
Don't
that film is
be.
really scary. Yeah. Like the dad about to shoot Freddy Krueger at the pool party. He's like pointing the
Mhm.
gun at where the kids
Yeah.
are. It's like,
It's
and when
like,
he's,
"You're
when he's
gonna you're
run,
gonna
yeah,
take somebody out,
yeah, oh
man."
my gosh,
You
that's
could
amazing.
definitely see the difference in the budget for that movie versus the first. The first one was just shoestring.
Yeah.
It's they say it's the New Line was the house that Freddie built, but
Yep.
they almost bankrupt them. And then off the success of the first, they were able to make the second because you see so much more Freddie and you see so much more of the makeup job. And you see him like basically, like you were saying in the pool scene, you see so much more of him as a character. And unfortunately, as the movies progress, you get from this terrifying figure with this really demented past to being almost like a MTV caricature of himself. And he got too popular, and then it was like a parody of himself. So I understand that it went off the deep end. Freddie said and all that, and it was saved by New Nightmare as far as that being such a meta movie. And, that gave a scream and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
it's just amazing how that launched New Line, and we got comedies and we got Lord of the Rings movies and all that stuff just from the little nightmare that could.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a great way of describing it, KB. Well done.
What's the name of that documentary? Oh,
Never
where is
Sleep
it? Where is
Again.
it? Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone who loves Nightmare on Elm Street should own that. Never
Yeah.
Sleep Again.
Yeah.
Love that documentary.
Me too. Good
My
shit.
friend, please tell me we'll do this again soon. I'm loving this. I'm loving the opportunity to speak to you and not just listen to you, which I enjoy doing on my own, but this has been a great time. I've had a great time, and I hope you have as well.
Oh, this is such a blast. Let's try to if you want to come over to my channel,
I would love it.
uh, let's do that. I'd love to set up you know, so let's set up a time and place for that. I'd love to continue it over there. That's great. This
Yeah.
you're such a gracious host,
Thank
KB,
you. Thank
and
you.
so great. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Last thing, what are your 5 favorite films right now that you
Ooh,
would
my
name?
5 favorite films
I'm so
right
sorry.
now.
Yeah.
Huh. I would
So sorry. I
say
put you on the spot. I
no,
apologize.
no, no. It's fine. I do it to everybody else. It works both ways, right? I would say one is A24's release of Baby Girl.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that, and I just did a podcast where I'll be talking about that and other movies of that subgenre. I'm always up for Hitchcock, so one Hitchcock film that people don't talk about, it actually is Sir Alfred's favorite movie that he made is Shadow of a Doubt. Great movie. Charlie and Uncle Charlie. Great
So many
movie.
Charlies. Yeah,
I
yeah. Great.
know.
Great.
She was named after her uncle, and her
Exactly.
uncle's a killer. Play Misty for me. That Kino release
Oh,
that just came out. Everybody knows Clint Eastwood for spaghetti westerns and all the way up to like Unforgiven, and then all the movies he directed after that up to Juror Number Two. But that one is so powerful. It's a great thriller. Great thriller. And what else would I say? I'm just looking around the room here. Um, let's see. What else have I watched recently? That's what I'm really looking to see. What have I watched recently? I
I
know
love it.
one
You're
thing
doing
I
what I do. Like look
yeah,
around and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You got to look around.
Yeah,
I know one
yeah.
thing that I have that I can't wait to get into.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you could see it there. Let me see if I could tilt it a little bit. That one that looks like a mask is the UK Steelbook release from Titans of Cult of Gladiator.
Very nice.
I want to see Gladiator in 4K, and I never got the studio release or anything, so I'm looking forward to that.
Very nice.
And
Amazing
I
guess.
have the Shout Factory's Black Exploitation Classics Volume 1 and 2 coming. So I pre-ordered Volume 2 and I finally ordered Volume 1, and that should be here this week. So I can't wait to see it because I grew up on black exploitation films like Foxy Brown and
Yeah,
Coffee and
yeah.
Hell Up in Harlem, and they're all going to be in one box set of 4Ks. I can't wait. I
Very
can't
nice.
wait. And I heard great things about it. So
Me too.
I would just kind of put them all together as one. And I can't wait to see them in glorious 4K on this super large TV that I still don't believe I own. So now you got me smiling and thinking about movies. Great way to end it. Great way to end it, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been a blast. I really
Yes, it
enjoyed
has.
this.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine, truly.
Yes, and I look forward to being on your channel. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. You can find Daisuke. Just look for him anywhere. This is the way he spells his name. You could find him on YouTube. You could find him he has a Patreon channel. You could find him on Instagram, but you do have to add a few letters. So on Instagram, it is Daisuke Beppu 4. I do
Yeah.
remember that difference there.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, get into his stuff. He's a lot more than Criterion, but he knows his Criterion. Do people ever ask you if you have every single Criterion?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Or do they
Uh,
believe that you have every single one? Do you have any from like older outer prints that is like your white whale to find?
um, at the moment, no, no. I was able to
Wow.
track down everything. I think that existed. I think
Wow.
so. Even the one
So
there's a very famous famous laserdisc of the Prince of Tides that was
yes.
so rare. You couldn't because it was never released, but I was able to track a copy down. So
Wow.
mm,
I know personally I would love the Hitchcock DVD set that they never got the license for all of them back again. Like I think Spellbound.
Yeah.
is one that they never got the license back again for. So I would love to have that. But that's amazing. So it's usually the newer ones that you're missing from your collection then?
Yeah. So I always get the new releases as they come. So for instance, I haven't gotten, what is it? What is the new Sorcerer? I haven't gotten the
Yeah.
Sorcerer release. And I'll probably wait. Hopefully there might be a sale coming up soon. So I'll probably wait a
Friday.
few.
Let's
Yep,
just
a
make
few.
it official.
Yeah.
Friday.
All right. Okay. All right. Yes. We get our yes. The same. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So
Where you
looking
come from?
forward to
Yes.
that.
Yes. The birds sing
Oh,
a pretty song.
yes. Okay, my friend. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you again for doing this. I love
Thank you,
talking
my
to
friend.
you.
Let's continue this definitely.
Yes.
Thank you very
And
much,
everyone
David.
else, go watch a movie.